How we doing in here the last couple days?
Well, I actually got up and dropped the temperature this morning, so it feels pretty good here right now. I wasn't here yesterday, so I really don't know.
Humidity sensor, temp sensor. Oh, you're right. Well, we're at 68 degrees. I love to put the stats up so high. We're running. Let's go up there and see what we got. So we had an emergency call. This one's satisfied, that's good. 10-ton unit. Basically emergency call midday. Hey, we gotta have our humidimizers. First stage was leaking on this guy. Second stage was operating. I fixed a leak on this one that day. Got this one up and running 100%. D-hum and all. We got 15 tons here for the main space. And this one's running now. So we've got, it's not froze up, so that's a good sign. I fixed a leak on that the other day. You can tell a lot with these with temperature drop. So I was getting the temperature rise out of this one actually, because I was heating space. First stage on the bottom was froze up. That's this compressor here. Solenoid valve. Can't see it, but the back side braze joint has a leak on it. So this one was froze up. This guy here is stuck in reheat. So that solenoid valve is actually bleeding through. So I'm putting hot gas through that coil. And obviously putting hot gas through there, this one froze up. I wasn't cooling, I was actually heating the air. So we got two solenoid valves. We're going to try to keep them running as long as we can. They open at like 11, I think. So we're going to do what we can to keep their cooling on as long as we can. Because this one's still cooling, we're going to let that run. We're going to start with this one, stage 2. We're going to get all the gas out of it and get the solenoid valve out, the new solenoid valve in. These things have had a lot of work. The customer was upset. They fought these things over. I think they're about 4 years old. No, we did not. They've had TXVs installed, all the usual crap on the humidimizers, the cap tubes rub out and everything else. That one had a leak fixed. I fixed it the other day. So now we got some repairs on this guy. So first we got to get all of our recovery equipment. Think of everything. Think about what we need. Try to bring me what I need first. So power, recovery tanks, so we can get the gas out of it and then go from there. So we got a nice area down here. Just drop that rope right here and we'll start grabbing everything. We'll pile everything we need right here and then we can pull it up as we need it. So I basically had one compressor stuck in D-hum. So this is my D-hum board. I've pulled that. That kills power to the solenoid valves and all the D-hum controls. This is my call from the dehumidistat. So we're in straight cooling now, except my one valve stuck open. So we are still in D-hum. When I got done, I had 13-degree temp drop once I got that other stage charged up. We got some discolored wires here. We're gonna clean up those, but for right now, should be able to pull. This should be stage 2. And like I said, we're gonna try to keep them running as long as we can. So we got this off now. Get the recovery started. And we're gonna weigh it and see how much gas we put out. These things have had so many repairs. I don't know what's been done. I don't know how it was charged. So I'm gonna assume that this one's not leaking, so I might be overcharged. Not sure if they were trying to charge it with that, not realizing that solenoid was stuck. But you can tell that it is feeding, because it is hot on the other side of that valve. Go ahead and get hooked up. You got fans right here.
Yep.
Your hands stay low.
Yep.
And be careful with what you're doing. Your caps are off already. Go ahead and connect this. Hook your recovery up. We're going to try to keep this in the shade.
Yeah.
I got some ice, but keep it as cool as we can. This is the tank I used to recover the other unit the other day. So. Go ahead and crack your valves. You know, just open them all the way up. And open the refrigerator. Now you want to bleed? No, just bleed at the end. You're going through machine, all the way back out to the tank. Tank's closed right now. Go ahead and bleed it. Make sure there's no air from the machine and all the hoses.
Yeah.
Just gonna watch it drop once we get down to, this one doesn't have a leak, but once you start getting down to under 5, if you know you've got a leak or think you might have a leak, because this one could have a small leak, I don't know. Right. I don't want to pull down into a vacuum, or because I don't want to pull anything non-condensable into the system, any air, anything like that. So I'm just looking at the tear weight on the tank here. It says TW 16.6. And we're at 38. So that's 22 pounds. And my stage 2 holds 20.5. That was part of my concern. So it's obviously got too much charge in it, because I'm still sitting at 180 psi. So let's get the 30 pounder over here. Bring the vacuum pump. We'll pull a vacuum on it first, and then we'll swap it out and start filling that one. So this one's got a vacuum on it, so when we've already bled everything, pulled the vacuum, so it's going to take some when we open it up. And open those gauges back up. We'll let it take some with that vacuum, then we'll kick the machine on again. Go ahead and kick her on, we'll get the hose on top of it. Alright, so we're going to get in here and clean. You can go ahead and clean both of them actually, but just right on the braze joints, clean the crap out of them, make it look like new copper. Give me a good 2 inches or so back, and let's clean them up real nice, and then we'll get that one out of there. Let's see how much we actually got out of this thing. It's hard to see, but tear weight is 26.3 pounds. So it's 5 pounds and some ounces. With the 22 or so I got out, so 27 holds 20. So that's the one thing I was concerned about leaving these stages like they are. We're gonna make sure we weigh our charge back in properly, but for now we're gonna get everything cleaned up and get these valves out, try to get this thing on a vacuum so we can get it up and running again. Now you got them cleaned up, go ahead and pop that solenoid off of there. Take a screw out of the top, it should slide right off. Yeah, hook up to the nitrogen tank. Turn it on, set it to purge. There you go. We're just gonna unhook. The gasket's probably, we'll get a new gasket in that, it'll be alright. We just unhook our suction line, that way we're purging through. And then set it to braze, and we'll get this thing unbrazed. See that?
Yeah.
What's that say?
E10?
Above it? In.
Oh, in, yep.
So you got an in and an out. And make sure you're going the right direction. So it's going to go like this. In this side, out that side, because that's feeding our hot gas reheat coil. Backside's got a booger on it, so push it in. Make sure it slides in there. Should slide in pretty easy once we heat it up. these condensers are split up into two. So we got to change the filter dryer. We still got pressure on the first stage. So we're going to follow our discharge line, goes into that condenser over there, and then our liquid comes out right here. So I know that that is my stage 2 dryer. Actually, somebody's already marked them. So we're going to get this dryer out, and we're going to put a 16 cubic inch in. Make sure we catch any of the crap that everybody else left in there. God only knows what was done. The TXVs look great. Your girlfriend could braise better than that. See any leaks. The solenoid valve looks good. The dryer could be better, but they had so much braze on there already. We got everything sealed up. We're gonna go ahead and put that back to test. One thing I did forget to do is when we did that solenoid valve, we should have had that magnet on top of it. We'll make sure we do that on the next one. We're gonna pump it up to 100 psi or so, and we'll watch it. I'm still holding right at 100 psi. I sprayed on my joints, I don't have any leaks there. We're gonna let it hold for a little bit longer. See a little drop of oil right there on the bottom of the other one. I never got my eye. There it is, right there on that back side. So I got to pull the gas out of this thing. So I went ahead and grabbed another solenoid valve. It didn't seem like it was bleeding by, but I'm already here and I'm cleaning up, trying to do right by the customer. So valves weren't that expensive. We're changing a valve out if I'm getting in there. So we ought to be good here as long as we hold for a little while longer. We're gonna give it a half hour, so make sure we don't have any pinhole leaks anywhere. I'm gonna go ahead and spray down the TXVs as well, and we'll clean all that extra wet rag off because somebody didn't do a good job of it in the first place. So we held pressure. We got kind of a screwed up vacuum setup with this with these Cormacs, but it's the way it's going to be. I'm working with what I got here. We're going to pull through my gauges as well. So gauge has got a 3/8 hose. We got my main vacuum hose going to the suction side. No valve cores in here, so I can isolate my vacuum hose. I can isolate my micron gauge and charge when I'm ready. And then when I get pressure here, we can take this fitting off. This has got a depressor in it. So that ought to be good. And I can also isolate here to get an accurate reading on my system. Don't think this is going to be a perfect vacuum. This thing's had a lot of work done. We'll see where we get, but we're going to get this back up and running. It's going on 11 o'clock now, so we want to get this stage running before they start piling people inside, and get our vacuum pulled, and then we'll start on this guy when we can get this guy charged up. After the fact, as soon as they clear out this afternoon, I'll go through and get some tubing and insulation, whatever, and wire ties, secure all this stuff so nothing else rubs. So we just kicked power back on to let that other stage run. We're still disabled on the second stage. Now, without a call for dehum, because I've got it disconnected, nothing's going to run until the stat times out. Once the stat times out, we're going to get our Y1 call to go to normal cooling mode. Anytime you have a cooling call, it's straight cooling. If you get a dehum call with a cooling call, it goes to liquid subcooling mode. And then once your cooling call goes away, it'll actually go to dehum and actual reheat and energize those hot gas solenoids. So we're going to leave this guy on a vacuum, see where we get, and then we'll continue on. So I'm guessing a good vacuum has never pulled any of the repairs. Hit 11. I can't see this is there. We hit 1100 microns. So oil still looks pretty clear. I'm not seeing any bubbles pull in, so we're gonna let it pull for a little longer, and then shut this guy off to make the other repair, and we'll charge this thing up. We're gonna try to get it down as far as we can. Like I said, it's not gonna be a perfect vacuum on this thing. It's been opened up so many times and half-ass vacuums pulled. It makes my job hard, so we'll do what we can. We're under 1,000. So I'm gonna pull for a little bit longer. Start working on this guy. I can't pull all day. Obviously had 4 vacuums pulled with all the repairs in the past. God only knows how many times this thing's been cut open. So we're looking pretty good there. We'll also valve it off and check the system. But yeah, it's gonna be alright. It's not rising, so we're gonna let it keep pulling. Just a little bit longer until we're ready to shut this other guy off. And then we'll get the repair started on that other stage. We've been maintaining temperature downstairs, so they have another lull in their operation downstairs between like 2 and 4 where it doesn't get nearly as busy. So we're going to shut her down here shortly and make the repair to the other one. We'll try to get them both started up and check everything out. Alright, so we're going to charge this guy up. We hit 800 microns. It's about as good as we're going to get at this point. It wasn't rising. We stayed under 1,000. So we got isolated micron gauge, isolated vacuum hose. We can go ahead, shut our valves. Shut our pump off. Make sure we bleed. I got to put a valve core in the swivel tee that's on there. And we're going to let it take whatever it'll take out of that tank. And then we'll use this tank, switch over to the other one, get all that gas out, go from there. So we got about 5 pounds in that tank or something. I think we calculated we got about 3 pounds out of it. So we're good now. Let's go ahead. We're going to bleed this. Put our valve core in. Here, I've just got a T. It's got a depressor in it. No valve cores in here, so it should be good. Take that off. And then we'll get our vacuum out of the way and finish charging this, move to the other stage. These guys are the gift that keeps on giving. Look at this. Had tape around it because that's going to fix it. Keep it from shorting out maybe, but that's not a good connection. And then this contactor. So we actually cleaned these wires up. This contactor is going to go. This one's okay. We're going to clean our wiring up, make sure everything's not burnt up and looking like crap, because that contactor's about done. We cleaned up this section a little bit. Got everything secured. We got some 1/4-inch tubing to kind of hold everything in place. I got my discharge lines back here. Everything's looking pretty good. We got the first stage pretty much empty, so we've shut our machine off. We're going to get this guy out and go about replacing that second valve, and we'll pull our vacuum, and we'll once we get this ready for a vacuum, we'll go ahead and charge this one up, get it up and running, and let them have some more air. But I think we're gonna be all right in here. Pulled all these back. I forgot to put my fucking magnum back on. That's twice now. We got 2 in the magnum. Be alright. raised in. Don't see any bubbles. Didn't do too bad on our filter dryer, even though I didn't use the wet rag. We got her sitting on 100, a little bit over 100 psi. We're gonna let her sit for a minute, and then we'll have at the rest of this. So we're getting hooked up. We're gonna bleed here. We're gonna dump back into the high side for right now and see what this will take, because we only got 3 pounds in it earlier. And then we'll switch over to the suction, start it back up. We are still holding pressure, a little bit over 100, so we're gonna be good on that guy. We'll get the vacuum set up too. Go ahead and kick a unit back on. I disabled stage 1, stage 2 is plugged back in, so it should run. We're gonna have a 5-minute delay again. So, stage 2, that's the one we're working on, 20.5 pounds. We got 7 pounds in it there, the 3 pounds earlier, so we're at 10. Go ahead and tear that out. As soon as this kicks on, we'll get the other 10 pounds. 20.5 is not 20 pounds, 5 ounces. I have to do the math, but it's like 20 pounds, 8 ounces or something. All right, so we got 10 pounds, 8 ounces. We're gonna get the hell off this roof. My tablet died on me because it was too hot. My phone's been shutting down periodically. I'm reading 104 in the shade. I'm over here for my outdoor air. 104, and that's not including the humidity. It is ridiculously hot out here. So we're gonna go take a break. Once my tablet resets, we can get an accurate reading. Should be able to do that from in the air conditioning. So it is effing hot. I'm dying over here. So second stage looks pretty good right now. 12 degree superheat. I lost my subcooling probe, but I mean, everything looks great there. See what kind of temp drop we got with only one running. About 7 degrees, so that's not too far out of the ordinary. It's hot inside right now too. It is, I was reading, pretty damn hot on the roof. I was in the shade, it's showing 99 now, but it is ridiculous out here. So we're just going to continue to monitor this, enjoy the air, and get some water. Still looking great on this stage. I'm happy with all my readings. We had subcooling up there. I'm not really concerned about the subcooling as long as my superheat looks good. We're going to cycle everything through dehumid as well, just to make sure everything works once we get everything in. But for right now, I want straight cooling so we can do as much sensible cooling as possible. I'm reading 76 on the thermostats, but we are at a 10 degree split now, one stage running. We had that other stage, we ought to be right around that 20 degree mark. So I'm happy. We're going to watch it. We got to go get stuff off the roof now. I got to go try to drag my helper along. He's struggling a bit. Not gonna lie, I'm struggling a bit too. It is freaking hot. Did a whole lot better on that one. 600, what do you think? Well, closer to 700, but close enough. Everything looks good. We're gonna go ahead and let this run for a few more minutes. You gonna make it over there? Get this guy charged up. We're gonna be done with this today. I was a little concerned about when I started, but that looks fucking amazing. So we're getting ready to give me my charging hose back. This valve core is leaking. Pretty good actually. that on there, bubble check it, we'll straighten it up. Get my probe back on here, and we're gonna do just like we did before. We'll isolate my pump. We hit 500 microns, so I went in and pulled my gauge off here because I can't isolate my vacuum gauge, but I'm happy with everything so far. So we'll dump refrigerant until I get pressure and see what it takes out of my tank, and then go from there. Have to turn the tank on first. So we got 12 pounds in. We're getting ready to finish our charge here. What the hell? I think it's too hot for the bees. Dude's having a heat stroke or something. I didn't do anything to this guy. He just showed up and is twitching like crazy. What the hell? I have never seen anything like that. And bees hadn't messed with us all day. It's craziness. Anyways, my stages are backwards, so this says stage 2. It's actually stage 1, the one we just got done with. So let's kick that contactor back in, and then we'll dump the rest of our charge. We are still in straight cooling mode. We're still disconnected on the dehum. Where I'm at? Right here. If you're gonna do this, be careful. Power is on. We're going slow. We are looking for 21 pounds, 8 ounces for the first stage. 21.5, so yes, 21 pounds, 8 ounces. I'll let this guy get there and then we'll check everything out. We're just letting everything even out. We're looking pretty good. Superheat's a little low. These do seem to run a little bit low. I haven't kicked dehum in yet. I'm still letting it cool. Let's see what our temp drop is now. 20.7, 20 degree temp drop. I'm happy with that. All this looks pretty amazing at this point. I'm going to be pretty happy with everything. I am going to have to come back. I'm literally 1 pound 12 ounces short with all I recovered and all I had on my truck. So you can see that superheat kind of dancing. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and re-enable. Most likely got a dehum call, so that's gonna do the liquid subcooling with dehum call and cooling, and then once my cooling call goes away, we'll go straight to once I connect that, we'll go straight to dehum mode only, and that's the reheat. So we may get a little bit more video on this. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm gonna have to get some more refrigerant. We'll check her again, see where we're at. So I kicked her back on, and we don't have a call for dehum. So basically right now I'm not calling for anything. It's operating just normal. Our humidistat does nothing but close these terminals. So if we go like that, we're in straight dehum mode. So my hot gas solenoids are open. And now we're feeding back to those TXVs, so we just want to monitor. It's going to take them a little while to find their way because we're changing the flow of refrigerant. So we just want to make sure everything looks fairly normal. Let's see what circuit 2. The biggest thing is that I've got superheat. Those TXVs will find their way. It does take them a little while. As you can see, I've connected my motor master, so we're cycling these fans as well. And we got good cold suction lines. Really doesn't look like I'm flooding too bad back. So I'm pretty happy with that. Only one more thing I'm gonna do. That's on that line there, and I've got to get that off of that line. That's the next spot rubs out. So I actually missed a wire. That's why my fans weren't running. They're cycling now. This wire here on the speed control, TB21, I didn't have it powering the speed control, so my fans weren't running. The other 2 fans weren't running. That's why my pressure jumped up so high. So we're looking a whole lot better now. We're in reheat. Let's see, compare our stages. Yeah, about dead even. I think my stage 2 probes dropped out because they're just not moving. That can't be right, but let's see what our temp drop is now. We're gonna have hardly a temp drop, 2 degrees. And that's how we dehum. 2 degree temp drop, it's going to sit here and run and draw moisture out of the air. So that's the general idea. Like I said, as soon as that cooling call comes, as soon as we get a cooling call, it'll kick out of reheat and go to liquid subcooling, as long as it's got a call for from the humidistat, or dehumidistat, however you want to say it. But right now it's pretty cool in the space, so we're going to go ahead and disconnect it. We got everything back wired like it's supposed to be. I got a pound left I need to put in here. We may come back and check it out again. Alright, so I just put my last little bit of tubing on there. I've had about enough for the day. This thing's looking great right now. I don't see any major issues. We've run it through dehum, fans are cycling properly, everything looks good. So temperature drop looks great, and we're gonna call this one good for now. I do have to come back and put a pound. That's probably gonna be a real quick dump a pound and let it go, because all of my readings so far have been amazing. So we got both of these guys working great, and we'll come back, check on the temperature, put a pound, 12 ounces into stage 1. We ought to be good from there. So let me know what y'all think. Leave me a comment. Tell me what I missed or what I did wrong. Besides the 600 microns, I don't want to hear about it. We'll see you guys on the next one.